Good morning, everybody. It is meteorologist Adrian's weather forecasting. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be another update on the severe weather moving to also the north and the southeast, and also parts of the Midwest, parts of Ohio, and it's also going to affect not just south, parts of the Mid-Atlantic up the coast. So yeah, let's just get to the video. So here's the National Weather Service. They do have new things now. They do have new tornado watches now in effect for my area too. I'm currently under a tornado watch, so be careful with the tornado watches right here, including a lot of counties for parts of Georgia, parts of Alabama, and even parts of the Panhandle have in that yellow. They have tornado watches. In this red right here in the county, that is a tornado warning right here. So be careful if you're in the tornado warning or watch in this area. You have a chance of getting a tornado. If not, a slight but a moderate chance of getting a tornado. Around all this, we have a lot of wind advisories because there's going to be a lot of wind stretching for parts of the Carolinas, Florida, all the way to the northeast, as they're going to get affected by this too. We have flood warnings, we have flood warnings over here. We have flash flood warnings and advisories over here, and then over here in these counties in the Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina, we have a high wind warning. So there's going to be some wind in those areas. And Northeast, we can see they're getting affected too. We have some flood warnings, or some flash flood warnings, and wind advisories. So they are really going to get hit as those two storms separated, moving to the northeast and to the northeast and the east. So let's take a look at the eastern or the southeast first. We will take a look at the east or the northeast too. So let's just see. We can just see that there's some rain, parts of Illinois, parts of Indiana, and parts of Missouri getting some rain too with the storm. And here is a big band of heavy rain, especially for parts of the southern part of Alabama, very heavy rain, and then also for parts of the northern or the north central or the eastern part of the country, or a part of Alabama getting some very heavy rain as it's moving to parts of Georgia, having some Appalachian rain too. I'm actually currently getting some light rain as we speak, because this is old, or just a couple hours ago. This is what it's looking like right now. You can see that heavy rain for parts of Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Kentucky, Arkansas. See, they're getting some rain with this rainstorm too, as in this area. This part of the storm moved northeast, and this one's moving east. So you can see they are moving different directions as they separated. Some heavy rain for parts in the West Virginia area. And here's the heavy band again, all the way to the Panhandle, the parts of northern Georgia, northwest or north Georgia, getting some moderate to heavy rain, especially right here near the Rome, Georgia area. But near that tornado, where that tornado warning is, around right here, getting some very heavy rain as we speak right now. And I would not be surprised if they bring some tornado warnings somewhere in this area. I'm not saying they're going to put it all over this area. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they put it somewhere in this area. As you'll see in the radar, they will get some really heavy rain in that circle. But let's go back for a second. You can see the Panhandle getting some very heavy rain as we speak, such as parts of Panama City. So it's not just like the southeast. We're also including parts of Florida. Very heavy rain. The areas where I wouldn't be surprised if they put a tornado warning either is the very southern part of Alabama and Georgia. Right here, wouldn't be surprised if they put a tornado warning there, if in one of those areas. And it's going to bring some moderate rain for Atlanta as we in a couple hours from now, getting some moderate rain for my area, especially parts of Atlanta, getting some heavy rain again for parts of Illinois, Indiana, and then for parts of West Virginia actually. But again, just this area can have multi-celled storms, which will bring up to baseball-sized hail and some tornadoes. But in the Torcon, if this area would, in my opinion, I'm not saying this is what it really is, but in my opinion, the Torcon in that circle is in between a 4 and a 5, 40 to 50% chance of getting a tornado. And I believe that because look at the heavy bands coming through this area, especially in the western part of Georgia. Very heavy rain. A couple miles west of Macon, very heavy rain, stretching the parts of the northeast part of Georgia all the way to the Panhandle again, brings even some rain for parts of the southern part of Virginia, parts of West Virginia, and some parts of some little bands of rain, not really heavy after this or after the major band. Bring some snow, or sorry, some rain for parts of the northwestern part of Georgia. But again, the Appalachians starting to get that heavy rain in the next couple hours, especially near this Clemson area. Can get some very heavy rain in the future. But just at the area where we can have again those multi-cell storms, but very dangerous right here. Debris can come down with those heavy winds and possible tornadoes, and then just the hail can damage some cars too. So if you're in this area, if you're in the tornado watch, like me, if you're in the tornado warning, especially if you're in the tornado warning in Alabama, please take shelter now. If you're in the tornado watch, just keep an eye on this, especially if you're in the southern part of Georgia and you're in the tornado watch. You should really take some shelter. Heavy band of rain gets into parts of central Georgia, making it and get some heavy rain. And then you can see it starts to you can see this band starts to connect right here. Actually, but this is just the heaviest. This is the heaviest part right here, all the way to Florida, but it connects all the way to the West Virginia area. So there's a little band there, a little scattered right here, but Panhandle again near Panama City getting very heavy rain. Other bands left out after the storm, and then it starts to move, and once that band leaves that one. It leaves, another band comes from the north, and this is where we're talking about the north now, as this band's going to connect from a southern band to the northern band, going to create one big band and going to hit a lot of these areas with heavy rain. It's going to bring heavy rain for parts of the Appalachian Mountains with that second band, so there's more than one band coming in. And then you see it form. You can see that it's form right here, and then another one right here. So yes, multiple bands, very complex storm, not just one storm, but multiple, especially if you're in the areas of Virginia. It can get quite some rain, or quite a lot of rain. Right here in the border of North Carolina, Virginia, that's an area where we can have some severe weather, and then for parts of Georgia and South Carolina border can get some also some very heavy rain. And then you can see that band starts to form a bit more. You see that near that low, very heavy rain for the Maryland-Pennsylvania border. Very heavy rain stretching all the way to parts of Georgia. And then you can see it's some also rain for parts of the coast, and then parts of the mid-Atlantic states, the southern states. But very heavy rain near the D.C. area. D.C. area, I believe, is under an enhanced risk, and I'll show that right after this. And then it leads us into the Atlantic Ocean. But let's go to the northern part to see what's going on. So you see some before that heavy band comes, there's going to be just some rain for parts of southern Michigan, northern parts of Ohio, and central Indiana. Some rain for parts of northern Kentucky, especially. Some very heavy rain right here for parts of the south eastern part of Kentucky and near the West Virginia border. That's some very heavy rain right there. And then also near some areas of western Pennsylvania. So let's just check what's going to go on. So there you can see that band start to form right here. This is a general area where it will form. And then before that, it's going to bring some very heavy rain in this general area right here. For the northern, that was really bad. For the northern part of Pennsylvania and southern part of New York near the Buffalo area. Bring some heavy rain for parts of the Detroit area, as some snow will come in for this. There's that band forming, very heavy rain, and then another band right there. So multiple bands with this area. So you're gonna, if there's one band, if you get hit by one band, expect more than one to get hit by. Let's move on a bit more in the future. Very heavy rain near that low, where that low's creating this heavy band. And this is what I'm talking about the north. You saw where those flood warnings were, that's bringing some heavy rain for parts of New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine. Very heavy rain in this general area, especially for the Buffalo area. Can get some very heavy very heavy rain, and then also for parts of Pennsylvania, north of Pittsburgh, getting very heavy rain, especially a couple miles west of Pittsburgh, or north of Pittsburgh, getting some very heavy rain with this very heavy band. and then it starts to connect with the one in the south. Like I said, they connect. You can see it bringing that heavy rain for parts of West Virginia. So very severe weather, especially this weekend for the areas in the north and the south. So yeah, just a major a discussion about this. Let's move on a bit more. It gets into parts of, you can see it comes to parts of near the DC area, bringing some scattered rain showers ahead of the heavy band. So again, that's why there are flood warnings. So you get rain before the heavy band comes. So, and then you can see some rains left behind with that major band. Bring some very heavy rain for Virginia or near Virginia Beach. Very heavy rain for a couple miles east of Baltimore. Very heavy rain for Philadelphia, actually, especially for the western part of New Jersey. Very heavy rain near the border near Philadelphia, and then Albany and other areas can get some very heavy rain with that band. Then the band moves off, brings some very heavy rain for parts of Boston, parts of New Hampshire, parts of Rhode Island, even parts of still Maine getting some very heavy rain, parts of Vermont getting some very heavy rain. And then let's move on a bit more, and then it moves off, that heavy band moves off. Here's the Storm Prediction Center. It has changed a lot since yesterday. The enhanced risk is now for parts of the more north into parts of the northeast in the mid-Atlantic states and parts of the Midwest. And then in the marginal, it includes now parts of the area that have a marginal chance of getting severe weather on parts of New York, parts of Connecticut, parts of Ohio, parts of Indiana, Kentucky, and even parts of southern Georgia and the Carolinas. So let's read some cities that are actually in the marginal, such as Louisville, Montgomery, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Savannah, Georgia, New Haven, Connecticut. If you are in any of those cities or close to those cities, you are under a marginal unless you're more into the slight. But if you are very close to those cities or in the cities, you are in the marginal. Now let's go to the slight. The slight chance has moved a bit more actually east. Now New York in the slight chance more into the slight chance is more into the coastal areas, a lot more south. I believe they should put an enhanced risk right here, as it's going to bring a very heavy band in the morning. But I believe they're referring to more in the midday and as it moves more into the area. Parts in the slight include New York, Philadelphia, where they're getting very heavy rain in Philadelphia, like we saw. Baltimore, Maryland, very heavy rain too. Washington, D.C., getting some severe weather too. And also Cleveland, Ohio. All those cities are in the slight chance. And you can see that the slight chance is way bigger because there's going to be a lot more severe weather across these areas than the marginal. Marginal is very small because it's going to be, there's some areas that are going to get some lighter rain than others, but most of the areas are going to get severe weather because that band's going to keep on moving no matter what. So whatever's in the path will get something. So let's go to enhanced. Enhanced has the biggest risk today for getting severe weather. They have an enhanced risk of getting some cities including Columbus, Charlotte, Pittsburgh, Lexington, and parts of Akron, Ohio. Again, if you're near those areas, you can get some heavy rain and an enhanced risk of getting some severe weather. Let's actually read the summary. This is just for you guys to have a better understanding of what's going to happen and what's really the enhanced or what's happening. So it says severe thunderstorms are forecast today in parts of Ohio Valley southward through the southern Appalachians and northeast Gulf Coast. Severe thunderstorms are possible this evening and tonight east of the Appalachians from the Carolina Piedmont northward into parts of the Mid-Atlantic states. So like we said, the Mid-Atlantic states will also get some very heavy rain too, not just the south. So yeah. So guys, let's check out the Cape. Of course, it's not going to be in the 4,000s or 3,000s like yesterday in parts of Louisiana, Arkansas, and Texas, even Mississippi. But it's going to be a bit lighter or a bit smaller of a number because there's not going to be as much energy. Yes, there's going to be very heavy bands of rain like we saw yesterday, but there's not going to be as much energy to produce tornadoes. But like I said, there's a 4 or 5 torcon in my opinion for these areas right here. But 11 a.m., so basically 30 minutes from now, We have 2,100 joules per kilogram for parts of Florida. But again, it's really calm, 1,700, 1,500. Very calm as we get to 11 a.m. But it starts to intensify a little bit more in the South Carolina area. So by 2 p.m., you can see a 2,600 joules per kilogram, 2,700, 2,800. See, it doesn't get over 3,000. The biggest number we will see right here will be 2,800. That's not low at all, but it's not high. It's in between. It's about I would say like a 60% of a lot of energy, 40% of a lot of energy. It's a bit in the middle, but not really. It's really hard to explain. But the higher the number, the more energy behind the storm. 2,200 joules per kilogram near the border of Georgia and Alabama. 2,400, 2,500, 2,100, and then as you go up, it's going to get a lot smaller. The area that's going to actually get a lot of energy is the Florida area near Orlando. 2,700, 2,500, 2,600. So if you're near the Orlando area, you can get quite a bit of energy where those heavy bands come. Especially especially at 5 p.m., you can see quite a bit of energy move into parts of North Carolina. You see Charlotte can get 1,700 joules per kilogram. Raleigh can get around 2,400, 2,500. I can get around 2,100. That's okay. Not really a lot of energy though. 2,500 near Savannah. And again, there's going to be some energy in the north as it moves up there. There's actually going to be quite a bit of wind. 1,600, 1,900, 2,000. But that's not really a lot of energy either. And as we go into the overnight hours, there's going to be even less energy. It's going to be more off the coast. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So if you're in the tornado watch warning, just please be careful, especially if you're in a tornado warning. You need to take shelter now. But if you're in the tornado watch, just keep an eye on the storm, and that's why I made this video, for people can be safe. Just like me, I'm in tornado watch. But everybody, please be safe. If there's not a basement, you go to center house or center room in your house. And yeah, so please do not forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And see you guys. Bye.